Oh, that's not where I expected to end up. Let's try that. Hey, everybody. Sorry for the early start. Let me just turn off that phone so nobody rings in the middle of it. Sorry for the bit of the early start. We've got Mark with us tonight once he puts himself back on camera and whatever. So all good there. But the important news today is what the hell has happened to silver? So through this show, we'll do a little bit of a look at that and some suggestions along the way. And also, as we do those, just understand this show is probably going to be a bit shorter tonight. I'm under the hammer. I'm busily working on a virtual machine for somebody. So that, and we have some interesting stuff coming out on Voice of Freedom shortly. So in the meantime, let's say somebody who's been absent for the last six meetings or so.
Hey guys. Hey Vince. It's good to see you, mate. Apologies, it's been so long. I've had an extended holiday, we'll say. I've been enjoying the summer holidays a little bit with my young fella a little bit too much, and working way too much when it comes to the hours on the weekend. But that's when I earn all the money, so I have to take the shifts when they come up. But yeah, it's sort of, unfortunately, haven't been able to get back and have a chat with you guys or Vince, because my shifts just keep ending right when we're supposed to start, or someone calls in sick, because the young blokes like to have Saturday night off, and they like to just call in sick on Saturday afternoon and pretend that they didn't call in sick the week before and things like that. But it is what it is. I get paid to do it, so it's all right. I've got a massive day tomorrow too. I've got a 12-hour day tomorrow. I start at 7 a.m. and finish at 7 p.m. And my other half is also doing almost the same shift at her job, so we both got to get, but she starts at 5 a.m. or something. So, but yeah, so that's why it's going to be a shorter show, unfortunately. Well, at least for me, I won't be around for as long. Apologies. But it's at least we've got some silver things to talk about, which isn't good fun. It was really fun the day before yesterday to talk about it.
Well, I think it's still an interesting thing, and you being a fairly large holder of silver, you'll be going, but still you're way up, aren't you? Tell the truth, you're way up.
I can't believe it. It's been 10 years. I bought one 10 years ago, and it's finally almost, it'd be not almost to the day, but yeah, I think it was 2016 I started buying. So I've been holding all that time and kind of thinking, is the fundamentals of this correct? Have I done the right thing? But it's starting to show that I definitely have, and anyone else who has been investing as well has been doing the right thing. Unless you bought on Friday, now you might be struggling a little bit. But it's just, we're going to have the main thing to remember, if anyone has bought recently and you might be feeling a little bit sore and sorry, is that the higher we go and the bigger the price gets, the bigger the swings are going to be. When we do have a correction back down to the kind of median price, or the average price that it should be for the market kind of thing. But buy if you've got money.
This is the chart.
Yeah.
This is what it's done. I put that up at the beginning of the show just to show you what happened. Now, we were told that there was going to be a pullback. The question is this the start of the downtrend? Right? Is this the start where silver pulls back? Because it's done it a couple of times before over its history, and we can probably show that if we go into the monthly chart and shrink it down. We can see where it's done it before in these two spots here, and how that it's fallen off the ledge and then gone right back down. So the big question being, is this one of those? What do you think, Mark?
I'd say no. I'd say fundamentals are probably telling us that it's just a correction. We went up so fast, considering all the suppression we've had for the past 20, 30 years or whatever it is on silver. We went up over, I don't even know what it was, 150, 200%, something like that in a month on silver, which is pretty sharp.
Yeah, I think I clocked it out in the last month at 167%.
There you go. It's pretty sharp. And so and looking at that formation that you just had on the monthly kind of thing, it's a massive cup and handle that you've got there, which is really cool to be a part of. That's one of the things when you read and look at charts, it's one of the fun ones that they say, oh, this is explosive and enormous gains. And technically they would say that we'd still have more to go on a proper cup and handle. You wouldn't think it's just going to die off there after just getting 100.
Because usually a cup and handle will extend the length of the last one. So if we were to look at basically, let's see if I can get the right tool I'm looking for here. Not that one. Short-term positions. Date range. That one. So from there to there, actually to there.
That's enormous.
That's enormous. Now, if we were to take that line and put it up this way, right, that's usually how a lot of charters will do it. They'll say it's got, it's going to be that much length and then it's going to go up. Or even if we were to be conservative and say that much, right, I don't know if I can shift this around or shift it, but generally speaking, if we look at how high it's got there, that's only about that far on that line. So that tends to indicate, right, that we've got this much more still to go. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's what it's just. And fundamentally, when the triggers for what's actually causing price movement, I don't think that's happened really much before. You would probably get some of this really big silver buffs saying and analyzing what's going on and explaining why we're seeing this movement so fast to the upside. And it's basically the end of the monetary system is here in a way where they just keep printing money into oblivion, and it's becoming worth nothing, and people are figuring that out. And they're now saying, oh, I want delivery on the real money. And they're running out of that quick smart as they have to deliver it. And as you see, industrial and all those needs, and industrial and monetary needs that have to be met, are still being met, you're going to run out of silver really quickly. The price is going to keep going up. But it's these fundamentals I don't think have happened. I don't think that's what caused the last rise and the last crash. I think the brothers, who were the brothers that were involved in the last rise and the last crash, where they tried to buy out all the silver and buy up the whole market, and then they rose the price, and then someone underhanded them. I can't remember what they were called. Someone underhanded them, and they crashed the market, and it's been pretty low ever since. But I'm not expecting. I think this is just a correction that had to happen. If you're on one of the charts I have, it's even on your chart, you've probably got like the 200-day or the 100-day moving average or a 50-day moving average there, where we pulled away pretty far from that average. So the price has to kind of come back and get close to that.
If I'll just shove that back on the 4-hour, right, and you can see the lines. The yellow line there is the 21-day moving average, and the red line is the 50-day moving average.
Fair.
Right, and because I don't have a paid account on trading on tradingview.com, happy for them to sponsor us and give us one, but because I don't have a paid one, because I can't afford to do that at this stage, I can't add the others that I would normally have in. I would also have a 200-day moving average and stuff as well. So
if you want, I can share mine, and
you go for it.
I'll show
me.
the example of what we kind of
There we go.
had to do there. So yeah, this purple line on mine, I think it's like a 50, might be 100. I can't remember what it is exactly. I'd have to look up through my charts. There's no point. Oh, 55. It's a 55.
Okay.
So when you look at how far we extended out off that 55 line, that's pretty far considering how far we usually stay close to it generally as the market ticks along. And then we extended price quite far out away from it here. In my eyes, it's a bit of just a correction. I was looking at it before, and it's a 40 from the top of the price range to the bottom. It was like 30-40% correction, which is getting into crypto corrections for size.
Yeah, it's weird for something like this as a commodity. It's very, very strange drop. It might have something to do with the Democrats are playing games again over in the States. They're trying to shut down the government again and starve everybody to death and all that sort of stuff. It could also be the fact that there needed to be a correction, because how else, if it kept going parabolic like it did, then banks and other large financial institutions would have been in deep shit for the paper that they currently hold, that they don't hold the silver for, and all that sort of stuff. So there needed to be one, but my personal opinion is that it's not going to be the start of the downslide, although that's possible. Right? I don't think so. I think it's just a correction, and I think right now is a really good time to buy.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's exactly what I was going to say, that the shorts that the banks would have to cover. There was a tweet. I don't know if I saved the tweet, but there was a good one that a bloke had posted about once we get into the 120s for us, 170s, 150, 170 range, the banks have to cover their shorts, and doing it at those prices is obscene for them, and they just can't cover it. So they will all kind of work together and do their best to correct the market in their favor for the short term, and do their best to, I don't know, do something on the other side of it to cover their ass again for as long as they can. They can't stop it. What's coming? They're not going to be able to stop it. The system is broken. They have printed too much money, and we're at that point now. I didn't think it was going to happen. It was pretty interesting to see how fast it's happening. Bix Weir, one of the guys I follow, has followed a long time. If you guys, anyone out there wants to know more really in-depth information about silver, a bloke called Bix Weir, Road to Router is his site on YouTube. He says that they can't cover it, and this is just going to keep going and keep going. We're going to see 1-to-1 with gold, and 10-to-1 or 1-to-10 with gold kind of thing. It's going to go slingshot the other way, but he's got a lot of information. If anyone else wants to look him up, go for it.
Wow. I mean, well, we can see that the gold-silver ratio, and I'll show that chart in a minute, is done a little bit of a hook up. And, of course, when silver dropped down, it went up the other way. And we can also see others like uranium. You've got it there?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Do you have the current stock markets on uranium and copper by any chance on your thing?
I think I can grab it pretty quickly.
Yeah, because uranium and copper have started tying in together, and also starting to move up exponentially, which is very interesting that those have done it. Something that's never happened in the market before, apparently. So you're looking for yep. And also, if you've got it, the S&P
versus copper, like uranium and copper, like versus copper.
Oh, well, yeah, you'd have to superimpose the charts.
Sometimes people just do it already.
Oh, okay.
You just find them and you're like, well done, guys. No, I can't see anything there. It's double though.
All right. No, that's all right. Also, have a quick look for the S&P 500.
That I can do. I'll change.
So SA, it's actually SA N sign. The N
No,
sign.
No. It's on a daily.
Yep. I like your charting. It's much better than mine. We can use your charts from now on. But you can see that even at the top of that, that's also taken a massive dive. If you can zoom in on that.
Yeah. I'll try and make it bigger. There we go. That's a daily. Do you want a weekly? It'll probably show it better. Oh no.
No,
weeklies are still showing
because
green.
yeah, that's because you've got to remember that this has only happened over the last 2 days.
Yeah, there you go.
So you can see that it's gone right up from the top there and dropped back down to 3. It's almost, well, it's lower actually if we look, because there's another one further down.
Yeah, we've had 3 days of,
and there's a massive gap there too that hasn't been filled. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting with silver the other day. That opened up with a gap, but it's filled it back down. That's for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's not just silver and gold that's going; it's the markets as well. This is what it's showing us at this stage.
Yeah,
but
uranium. There's your drop on uranium too. Sorry.
Yep, but see how much it went up.
Yeah,
over the last little while,
and from down here.
Yeah, right. And copper's done the same thing. Right.
Oh yeah, right.
So,
yeah. Look at that, up, down in a day. That's 2 days. Look at that. Yeah. This is crazy in the commodities markets. This is to do that.
It's not normal for a commodities market to do this sort of stuff. It's usually a lot slower in its movement, unlike crypto, which we're used to.
That's 10% up and 15%, 10% up, 15% down, pretty much in 2 days.
Wow.
It's insane.
Okay, so apparently today, a couple of the bullion dealers here in Australia had to shut down their websites because they were getting overloaded with orders.
Wow.
Ainsley being one of them. I think Perth Mint was the other one that shut down as well. I may be wrong on that. You'd have to fact check me. Ainsley's site is back up at the moment because I just checked. But I do hear through the Ainsley grapevine that they've got people working this weekend just to fulfill orders.
It's got to be crazy. I did hear the Perth Mint thing. I heard that they stopped taking orders too. I did hear that myself.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. This is it's one of those times where, at least I know with Ainsley, if you purchase silver right now, you would get it at the price that it's currently selling at. So that's something. I'm personally thinking that I might just go back into CoinSpot and see if I can slip over another $100 from somewhere and grab it while it's down in a token.
Yeah.
Right. Because the last lot, you might not have caught up, but I was something like nearly $60 up on the $200 I put in on that show.
Oh wow. That's
right. And that was just in silver. I was up also another $12 or $18 in gold on the small half a milligram I had, or whatever it was. But yeah. So I'm wondering whether I might go and do that tonight if I can get past everything else I'm trying to do. So you're of the same opinion as me. You think this is just a pull down and that it's going to continue to rise? This is not the start of the bringing it back down. What reasons would you give for it being just a pull down?
just fundamentals that we've never seen the price rise so fast. And why did it rise so fast? If people, and the answer, I don't know what answer you get back from people that argue the other side of that. Really, they might. I'm not sure. I'm only sort of probably stuck in one zone at the moment, looking at certain things and forming that opinion. But yeah, my thing is just, why did it rise so fast when it's been suppressed for 20 years at $25 or below, and now all of a sudden in a couple of months we're up at 100. We hit $170 Australian, and then a 40% correction, which is just down to the 55-day moving average, really, which is standard play for normal charting and market structure. My argument is just fundamentally the only reason it rose in the first place is because the system's broken, and unless they've come up with the solution to fix the system overnight, then we're going to keep seeing silver.
Just jump back to your silver chart.
Pardon?
Just jump back to your silver chart.
Go back to my silver chart. Where are we? No, yes, there we go.
So if we were looking at that chart there that you've got, we can see that basically at any time that silver has done a dip, it's never broken that purple line.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, this looks like it's going to be the closest to hitting it as ever has been. Does the tail on it actually break the line? I can't see.
Yeah, the tail comes down and breaks the line, which happens a lot on a lot of things. It's where it closes. That's where it really matters on the candles. Yeah. Especially in a manipulated market, like you'll see in the crypto charts, when you see the blood on the streets and they smash it down 40% in a day, these tails come right down through a lot of the averages and a lot of the structural norms that would say that's now made that structure obsolete. Where if it closed, but then it springs straight back up and it goes back into a normal sort of structure, which most analysts say that's fine. It was basically manipulation. So somebody got to buy what they wanted to buy down here, and now it's sprung back up and back into normal market structure. And as long as the candles keep kind of closing, above on that line, or even if it closed just below it, that's not the worst thing. But if it's closing above it, that's great. That's just it's a good buying opportunity for anybody that had money left to buy. And now, unfortunately, the only thing for those that were sitting there with their helmets on and strapped into their rocket chair ready to go, now we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer while it builds momentum again, I would say, and digs out of this rut and then goes again. But I don't see why it would just crash back down. And that's fundamentally, like I said, unless they've fixed the system and they've stopped printing money. Has the American government announced that they're going to stop printing money and stop spending way more than they have in their budgets every year? I don't think they have. And that's the problem. That's why we're in this mess, is because all the countries just keep spending money. And that when they spend it, they print it. That's how it works.
Yeah, so look at that. I mean, I always use the tails on these candles as a guide to which way it's going to turn, right? When you're looking at your top and your bottom tails on each purchase for the day or the hour or whatever, I always check them for which way it's going to turn. And if we actually look at the 4-hour chart, if you can jump to the 4-hour chart on that one, right? So interesting how your 4-hour chart looks different to mine. Well, your silver to US dollars.
I'm in the CDF chart. Do you want me to go US dollars?
Yeah, no, that's all right. No, I'm on the CDF, CFD's chart. So that's why there's a slight difference. But even if we look at that, right, we can see that the whole candle and the length of the tail the tail's very short, and that tends to indicate that to me that that's going to end up turning around. On the next candle, which is basically a no trading day, somebody's managed to score pretty well down the bottom there. But there's the end of sale, or the end of that 4-hour trading, is pretty much equal with the previous one. So very interesting in that. That's just the way I read charts. You may read them differently.
Yeah, no, this wick coming all the way down here and just wicking down, and then usually we might see this pop back up a little bit more, and then if that closes kind of up here, I think that's called like a hammer wick, a hammer candle, where you generally does indicate that you're going to see a rise later. It'll be interesting to see how we're definitely digging ourselves out of this rut. I'm not really too worried about that. It's just going to be interesting to see the formation, how long it takes to get out of it. That's how long it takes to build momentum, how much when they manipulated the market in the last couple of days, how much momentum they actually took out of the wheel, because it's a bit of a flywheel effect that's happening now. There's a lot of momentum that's just spinning up, and they can't control what's going on. They have printed too much money. It's just that simple.
And really, the only way that a market drops is if there's a huge sell in the system. So someone somewhere has been selling huge amounts of silver. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be China. All right.
No,
so
that's which was what I was about to say just before as well. I'm glad you brought that up. That the Asian market now is going to drag this US and London market by its short and curlies through the mud to these top prices, because they know what's going on and they don't give a shit about the US dollar and any of that anymore. They know it's not worth anything, and they're just buying gold hand over fist, to the point where the Asian market was like already at $120 when the US market was at about $100. Its price was already way ahead for people that were doing the conversions on the Chinese charts, I think it was, or the Chinese market. But people were doing conversions, and it was already much more ahead of the price, because they know what's going on and they've been buying it hand over fist for a long time.
Yeah.
So
King Duck brings up an interesting thing there. In the 2008 financial crisis, for example, gold and silver shot up before the crash happened.
Yeah.
So a little bit of history there that is relative to it. And
yeah, we will see history right, I think.
Cass Smith from Financial Solutions, Freedom Financial Solutions, and there's a shout out for Freedom Financial Solutions. So if you want your super somewhere that's not controlled by big corporate entities and you can control it yourself, go and see Freedom Financial Solutions via the webpage, which is Freedom Financial Solutions FFS. I love that FFS. Yeah, I'm not going to say that. Anyway, but she has been calling that this crash is going to be coming for a while. So this could be the first significant marker to it. It is a possibility. I think that the various governments around the world are going to fight like shit not to let that happen, because if that happens, they've got to go into damage control, and literally they don't have the capability of doing that. So can you imagine Albanese trying to do damage control? He fucked the last one up. Excuse my language, people, but that's the best word, Aussie word that I can think of that explains it.
No, it's a shoe fit. If it's a...
But yeah, so I think personally, that we're going to see this is going to re-rise again. And I think it could take off quite significantly. But even if it doesn't, even if it just gets back to where it was, if you put $100 in, what did you say that drop was? Nearly 40%. So if I put $100 into, say, a tokenized asset, or through Ainsley's purchase a coin for 100 or whatever, and it goes back up in a day or two, I'm going to make $40 on $100.
Yeah, and one of the big things that we have to watch now as well, which is a huge indicator of what's going on in the market, is what you can actually buy physical silver for, and how much these candles on our screen are telling us the prices, and the COMEX is telling us the prices, compared to what the market on the street is telling us. And that's in Asia and all that kind of stuff as well, with what you can actually buy it for. And that's you'll start to see, the prediction is that you'll start to see the price indicated on your screen tell you it's 100 and whatever or 200 and whatever, but on the street you won't be able to buy it for $300 or $400 an ounce. It's just one's going to be. It's going to be harder and harder and harder to find as the shortage of the supply comes in, and then eventually they're calling it will go to unobtainium, where you won't be able to get it anywhere, and the price will be who knows what. They reckon you'll wake up every morning and the price will just be obscenely higher and higher and higher again, and you just don't know what it'll be. But we'll wait. I think that's a little bit far. I think we might have to go through this massive crash possibly before we get to that. But hopefully we don't see a massive crash. I think 40% in one day is pretty big.
That is huge for this type of movement for silver, indeed.
Yeah.
So along with that, well, we've probably spent a reasonable amount of time on silver, and I will be trying to transfer some money and go and just add to my token list. And for those of you who keep going on about, that it's a token, I don't care, because at this stage of the game, it's making money. And I know it is backed by Ainsley. So at worst case, I could spend my $250 and then only owe them 20 to cash it out to Real Silver. But effectively, I can just let it build as pocket money inside CoinSpot, and if it goes higher and I keep making money, my $200 or $300 might suddenly be worth $500, and I've made $200. So you can't do that in a bank. Let's put it that way. So
not even close.
So even though it's a token, but at least I know it's a backed token. It's not a fake one. That's my only concern with tokenization. All right, XRP news. Mark, we haven't had you here. I've had to supplement the XRP news, mate. Fill us in. I'll take this off the screen unless you so you can.
I'll probably got to get out of here in about 5 minutes, I reckon. So I'll have to try not to.
And we'll close the show at that point, because I've got to get back to this virtual machine I'm shrinking a drive on and creating on a Linux box.
So you're an animal. You are an animal, mate. I'll try and find. I don't even know what I've got in XRP news. There's been announcements, but I don't know if I've actually saved them.
Okay, so what have you picked up over the last 3 or 4 weeks?
Pardon?
What have you picked up over the last 3 or 4 weeks while you've been busily not coming on the show? Slap, face, pang, pang across the face.
I've been trying. Yeah, I've been. I think it was more that one of the big ones. If we can, have I got a share screen? Is it that more that XRP starting to go? Do I have to stop screen? Yeah,
you have to stop screen and then reshare.
That XRP is really starting to go mainstream, which we wouldn't usually. Which over the past few years, it's just been ridiculously suppressed, and the media wouldn't dare talk about XRP. They'd always talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin or Solana, anything else. Where this was January 7th. That's apologies for telling it's been since I've been on the show. But this was on CNBC primetime news talking about XRP.
The breakout trade of the 2026 crypto rally isn't Bitcoin or Ether, it is XRP. Now, the token tied to Ripple is up more than 20% over the past week, pushing past Binance's BNB coin to become the third largest cryptocurrency by market value. And even with the broader crypto complex pulling back today, XRP has been the quiet outperformer for months now. The use case here is payments, specifically cross-border settlement. Ripple designed XRP as a bridge asset, When a bank or payments provider needs to move value from dollars to yen, XRP can sit in the middle and help settle that transfer in seconds instead of days. Now, it's aimed at financial institutions and payment rails, which is a very different pitch from Bitcoin's digital gold narrative. And unlike stable coins, which are basically tokenized dollars, XRP is trying to be the exchange layer that moves value between currencies. So money's moving into XRP for three big reasons. First, the regulatory overhang has finally cleared. Ripple has fully wrapped up its SEC fight as of August. Second, it's a less crowded trade than Bitcoin or Ether. And third, the flows have held up. Even during the Q4 dip, investors kept adding to XRP-focused funds, while Bitcoin ETF flows fell with the price.
How do you think the declines in Bitcoin and Ethereum fit into this? And specifically, these are...
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, they call it the breakout crypto trade for 2026. Is buy XRP. So that was also just before it dropped like 25% as well the other day. But everything else has too. So it's not just XRP. Buy XRP.
Yeah. CNBC too. It's like, as you said, mainstream media. I also heard that they were XRP, or the Ripple Corporation, were making inroads significantly into Europe as well with those financial traction and getting their licenses and stuff so they could do that financial trade on the chain. So that's excellent stuff in there. I know that you need to go, mate, and so do I in that situation. Just a couple of quick things there that Crunchy brings up. He's watching China and what they're doing and selling US debt bonds because China owns quite a few of those. So that may also be playing significantly in the marketplace. Let me remove that, put you back up there. So that is one that, yes, that's valid and should be kept being kept looked at. Right. Yes. And yeah, if you're going to buy.
Sorry, I'm really excited by Crunchy's comment. That's a very good comment, Crunchy. Good thing to be watching.
Indeed. And if you're looking to go and buy crypto in this point, I think we're seeing now that the crypto market is heading for a bear market. My guesstimate is that Bitcoin will get down to around 72,000, 73,000. Right. But it does give us a brilliant opportunity to pick those other things that are still out there. Like there's certain narratives. I've got one that I'm following where it's a way of actually proving that you are a real person in YouTube for creators instead of an AI. That's one of the platforms I'm following. But XRP is another one of those as well. No, I'm not an XRP shill, trust me on that. But we've got one of those sitting in the chair here already. So
yeah, we don't need two of those.
But I mean, that's showing a workable narrative. That's the point. It's workable. And that's why it's a valid thing to invest in. And taking the advantages of getting it while it's cheap could only be a godsend, is the way I see it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
exactly. If you've got the spare change. Now, please remember, and I'm going to say this again, we do not give financial advice. Well, this is just two guys that are sitting on the bottom level of the basics of these markets. We're not experts, right? And what we say is just friendly information. If you are looking to spend, my advice for that is only spend what you can afford to lose, right? Don't bet your house on it, not unless you can afford to lose your house. So invest with care on that sort of thing. We've got about 2 or 3 minutes left before your wife's going to hit you over the head, Mark. So
maybe 2 minutes if I'm lucky. Then she'll come storming in here.
Well, hopefully we can get you back here next week. I know you and your wife's got.
I'll do my best. I'm going to. Yes, I'll be doing my best. Don't worry.
Yeah. So with that, guys, we actually will probably wrap this up tonight and leave that with you. I was just reading a message. Yes, we're happy to help. I mean, that's why we're here. So effectively, please look at the silver market. If you can afford to get some, get some. That would be my guess at this stage. It is a chance. It may go lower. It may drop right back down, and it could go down as far as 80 or 90%, right? Because we've seen those drops in the previous markets. But either way, right, if it doesn't, you lose. If it does, you lose. But if you don't buy any, well, then I suppose you haven't won anything at all.
Yeah.
Right? If it goes up and you bought, you've won, haven't you? So there's always a chance. So I figured that by my weird way of phrasing it is about a 25% chance. So don't know how I figured that one out, but yeah. All right, Mark, you want to sign yourself off and say goodnight to our viewers?
I've got one last thing for as a sign off is King Duck's comment about the Clarity Act, oil spiking, the reverse carry trade will shoot XRP up. They're all the things that we get. They're things that we will need to talk about in the next week or two. Remember those ones. But other than that, I will say, yeah, thanks for having me again, guys. Thanks for having me back, Vince. It's good to be back.
Having you back here.
You're not having me back. It's just good to be back. Apologies. My name's on fun, isn't it? It's good to be back.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point with the Clarity Act, because I know that they're having some trouble getting that past government because the Democrats are being arseholes again. So, honestly, you know, the left and the right, Labor, and we've got it here in this country, and it's time. I did a little video for South Australia about the devils you do and the devils you don't, and showing how much Lib and Labor had controlled the South Australian government since 1908. Right? So maybe it's time to put in a devil that we don't know. Right? And there's a fairly good party that's making themselves a devil at the moment, including #1 songs that get taken off Apple charts. So anyway, you guys can do your research on that.
I'm being yelled at. I have to go.
Okay, everybody, let's say good night, Mark. We're leaving as well. So
good night, guys. See you.
Be good. You soon. Cheers. Oh, poor old Mark. At least he's a good husband. He does what his wife tells him. So with that, folks, I'll say stay strong, keep your eye on the markets, and keep the faith. Always keep the faith. And we will catch you next week. Sorry for the short show, but I'm just trying to fill in while I go back to media assets over here. There may be some change in the format on this, how this show works and how this show looks. As StreamYard, the guys that we were doing this through, understanding we're a very young broadcasting company, they've decided to implement a policy that they now want to charge us $300 US a month to have this streaming platform. So we will probably be saying no to that because we don't have $300 a month. And StreamYard, you really need to revisit your policies. All right, quick way to lose business. So see how that pops up in the next couple of, we've got another couple of weeks before we'll be moving, but just letting you know. All right, people. So with that, I'm going to say good night once again. Keep the faith, right? Invest wisely. Don't spend more than you need to. From me, cheers.